people who are more mature are boring. And I know that's not what people want to hear, but like, dude, they're just boring. And this is why most entrepreneurs have shitty relationships, is like because they have a control problem. That's when most entrepreneurs get stuck or they can't scale, is because they just want to do it all on their own. And that's a control problem, because either they grew up in an environment where they didn't really trust anybody, or someone fucked them over, or whatever it looked like. Something happened to make you think that we can't trust humans because you did it all on your own. So you're the only person who can do it.
How did you get to do what you're doing right now?
The biggest thing when I was first starting out was finding my proof of concept. And this is something that's very overlooked in the business world. People are just so consumed in like starting, launching, making money. A lot of businesses don't run ads because they're afraid to spend money. Here's my pitch on ads. If you wake up in the morning and you don't have a book calendar, you're broke. And that's just it. End of story.
All right, Jason Wojo. We're talking the pregame, man. We're talking about sports. And already I'm like, I can talk to this guy for like, a half hour just about sports. Because he's Ubering out on stuff and so am I. But, it's a good segue because we're going to get into another sport, which is business. And he just said he just came back from a conference, was it your conference?
Yeah. So we host them every single week. It's called Scale Your Ads.
Cool. So, and we're going to talk about scaling, but let's get into your origin. Let's go back. Tell us where you're from. What did mom and dad do for kind of just give us a sense of like, how did you get to do what you're doing right now?
Yeah. So I am originally from New York. I lived in Newburgh, New York, which is like upstate. It's also near, so people know Poughkeepsie and Beacon because of the train station there. So I lived there for about 19 years of my life. Grew up in a really small home, nothing extravagant. My dad was a lab scientist and my mom was a part-time teacher. We didn't really make much. And I kind of learned a lot about like scarcity and money when I was younger, how we looked at like a $60 pair of sneakers versus an $80 pair of sneakers, how that was like such a big difference. I remember shopping for basketball shoes when I was younger. I played a lot of basketball, played a lot of tennis. My story is actually, we didn't even get into it before, but I played basketball for probably 15, 16 years since I was like literally zero. Like that was my thing. And I was playing AAU travel ball. I was getting recruited to play at Dayton, which is a Division I school. And all of a sudden I just didn't hit puberty. And this is like a whole like weird backstory, but dude, I was really, really good at ball. And it was something that was really exciting to me. And like I got into it because of Kobe Bryant, hence why I have all the stuff. And I was going into my junior year of high school and I just did not hit puberty like everybody else. And I was still 5 feet and 75 pounds. I was a very small kid. I had a human growth hormone deficiency disorder. So like, I just didn't hit this height where everybody else was. Because if you look at it from a macro standpoint, like mostly kids will hit puberty 13 to 16. It's usually like this age group. Yeah, not for me. So while everybody was growing for the last year and into that summer, my ass did not grow. So it was pretty bad. So like when you're driving down the lane and you're 5 feet tall and you're bumping a kid who's 120, who's 5'7", 5'8", and hit puberty, dude, it's very hard. Right. It's hard to drive through the lane, take contact, finish, or even maneuver, or even, go baseline and like maneuver that. It's just tough because they just bump you on the hip and you go flying. So I had to learn that the hard way and unfortunately sucked. And then I stopped, like they revoked all my offers. I went to Hoop Group and then there was a camp in Rhode Island. I went there to like play in front of a bunch of scouts and like, dude, I was used to scoring, maybe 28, 26 a game. It was sick in like high school, 9th grade, 8th grade, 7th grade, going from JV to high school. And like, I was this like thing. And then I went to these camps and I was scoring 6 a game, 8 a game. Dude, it was very tough. And like people just did not want to look at me anymore. And it kind of sucked because my parents, even though they made little money, they put a lot of it into me playing basketball. And it was a huge thing when I was younger. Like my dad was like banking on this. I remember when I was playing travel ball when I was like 11 or 12, like I was literally number one AAU player in like the Northeast. Like I was crushing it. And I was in all the newspapers and then it went completely south. And like to go from that peak to then fall was one of like the worst days of my life by far. I remember that day because we were playing we were playing in South Carolina and I was playing this team and like, dude, these kids were so much bigger. And it was one of my last travel ball games before I put the basketball down. And that's when I transitioned into tennis. And it was a sport that didn't really have to be dictated on me driving through a lane. Like it was this thing where it was more like mental and strategic. Like tennis is a very mental game and just strategy based. And that's really how I really got this mind for business. But like, dude, I was playing this game and like I just could not get past this kid. Like this kid was 5'6", had massive legs, very long stride. And I was like, dude, this kid's not even good and I can't get past him. Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like it was just a struggle because I was so like skinny and it was so tough. And that was the day where I was sitting in the car. I had like towel over my head. And my dad was like, son, like, I just think that we got to call it a day. And I was like, dude, like, this is rough. Like trying you, it's like Elon Musk where he is now, just going to straight zero. Like, what would that look like? And just like, it was tough, man. So then I transitioned to tennis, played that during high school, did very well. And then I wind up playing tennis in college, and that was cool. And I went to culinary school. So like I was doing all this stuff, dude. The story's nuts. So like I was,
Real quick, you're taller now. What
yes,
happened?
okay, yeah.
How tall are you now?
Now I'm 6'1", 6'2", and 140 pounds. Yeah. So I wind up going to culinary school, hated the shit out of it. Right before I went to culinary school, I took human growth hormone the whole summer. Like that was what I was on. And like instead of using the money for a college fund, like my dad saved some type of money for me, like not a crazy amount, like maybe like 35 grand, 40 grand. And we were using it for college. And like, to be honest, I didn't really like school. So I went to a cheaper school, SUNY Delhi. It was like 8,000 a year. It was very cheap. And like, dude, I just hated culinary school. I thought it was going to be good because I worked at a deli when I was a kid just to make money on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was the thing for me. I was like, oh, I'm just going to go to cooking school. Like, I'm going to be a chef or own my own restaurant. Like, dude, that was the biggest left field hook of all time because one guy came to our school freshman year and he was talking and presenting in front of the whole class. And he was like, hey, if you're going to do well in culinary school, you're going to make 15 bucks an hour. You're going to slave for years, but it's worth it. And I heard that and I was like, why would I want to do that though? And then I left the conference, called my parents, I was like, yo, I'm dropping out. Like, this is terrible. Go back to, upstate New York, moving with my parents. I was playing college tennis then at Mount St. Mary, which is a school in Newburgh. I got most of my college paid for there. And I went to business school because there was a weird paradigm that happened. So I don't want to make this crazy long, but I was hated culinary school, got the HGH, went to college, grew, started talking to women and stuff because now I actually had something to offer. So I got like really good socially. Yeah. And then while that was all happening, like, I'm not going to lie, like I partied a lot. I got really messed up like 3 days of the week, man. I'm not going to lie. Like I was pretty hammered. So I would wake up hungover, shoveling snow away from my car to like go up to class. And I found this box in the back of my trunk. It was Pokemon cards. And I started getting into the whole eBay game and flipping Pokemon cards. And that's what got me to like neglect school. So I was so busy going to the post office, going to Walmart, buying packs, going back and forth. And that was my little side hustle. And that's what got me to eventually quit culinary school because I was making 200 bucks a week flipping Pokemon cards. Bro, that's a lot to a college kid. If anybody doesn't realize that 5-6 years ago, bro, if you're making 200 bucks a week in college, you were the fucking man. Like, dude, I was able to supply the beer for all the parties and do all the fun stuff. And it was like, it was fun. And I got very good socially. And then I decided to drop out, went to business school. Like I said, was playing tennis. And then I ran into Tai Lopez's course, which was the SMMA course. A lot of people hate on Tai Lopez, but like, to be honest, man, like he knew a lot of shit that was relative back then.
Tell us about that. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. So Tai Lopez was a very big direct response marketer. He ran a huge course back in the day. It was called SMMA, which is social media marketing agency. It was just a course on how to start a social media marketing agency. I took it. It was $9.97. It was pitching local businesses, getting free trials. Like that's how I started my journey. And I had about 10 to 12 clients in New York that were paying me 300 bucks a month. Some of them were paying me 175 a month, very small numbers because I was literally like eating shit to figure out what was working. And then I bought my own camera and then I started shooting the content for the clients. And then like from there, man, I was doing that for about 2 years, finish off business school. And then I moved out because I just like didn't want to pay my parents rent. It was just like this thing where my dad was like, yeah, you're going to pay us 600 bucks a month. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be honest, man, I could find a place in Orlando or Florida somewhere nicer for like $800, $700 a month and live with a bunch of college kids and still enjoy my innocence. So I moved out, went to Orlando. And dude, like I was just living my life.
Mm.
And I was making 3 grand a month. It was cool. Like I was able to pay my expenses, have fun, enjoy my innocence still.
Mm.
And dude, like, that's something that I've always hanged on to. So like that's really how I got into all this. And like I was then taking the 3 grand a month and building the business. And like I had to make shit work and I didn't have much money saved. Like that's really how it spiraled into what it is now. But I want to bring up one thing, which is a lot of the times, man, when people move out or they have their own life, they decide that they need to grow up. And this is a big like thing in the world. And I'm going to tell you right now, dude, that's actually false. And people will say this all the time. They're like, oh, you're immature. You do this, you say this shit on the internet. Like, here's the thing. A lot of people are going to tell you things that you're supposed to do because it's what they did. And like, just because someone else did it doesn't mean that you have to do it. Like right now to this very day, I'm 26. Dude, I'm immature as ever. I still do stupid shit. I still go out and have fun. I still do all these things because I want to. Like, I'm not going to let somebody else dictate the life that I want. And people will tell me, hey, man, like, if you're immature, you're not going to attract the right business owners. Well, that's a fallacy because we have 255 clients right now. We have 52 team members who run a massive agency. And like, I never had to compromise who I wanted to be to do the shit that I wanted to do. And it was this thing where like when I moved out, I thought I was going to grow up and become boring. And that was a big thing for me was that now like I'm not CEO anymore. I found somebody to take over. And I'm not going to lie, man, like people who are more mature are boring. And I know that's not what people want to hear, but like, dude, they're just boring. And if I'm in rooms with people who are very, really, 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 really mature, dude, I'm yawning every 15 seconds. I'm bored. I'm just bored. And it's things where like, dude, like building an agency and doing all this stuff, like made me realize that two things. Number one is, dude, radical transparency wins every day of the week. So that's number one. And number two is that people are exhausting. And the last thing that I ever want to do is compromise who I am just to be a part of like some type of circle or network or X. I always stayed true to like the beliefs that I had. And I think that that was something that like I really took with me throughout my entire journey. Like, and that allowed me to set good expectations and like be okay with being young. Like, dude, it's just like, I don't want to grow older. People are like, oh, I can't wait to have kids and do this. I'm like, bro, slow down. Like, enjoy your youth. Like, I'm 26, dude. I just started paying for my own health insurance. Like, I don't know what the hell. So like all these things are happening. And I just want to be me. And that's all I care about. Because like, dude, at the end of the day, you know, it's funny too, because right now I'm in this like weird age where I'm starting to date pretty heavily. And like all these women are like, oh, when do you want to have kids by? How many kids do you want to have? I'm like, bro, like, let's just go to the winery and let's just like talk. Like, oh, like I'm not trying to have kids right now. Like, let's just chill the fuck out. I don't know, dude. I just think that I'm going to be in this phase for a little bit and I can contribute that to just being more happier. And I think that a lot of people are rushing through their lives. Like women and men have two things, a biological clock for women and a financial clock is for men. And like women are on this biological clock of I need to have kids, I need to have a house, I need to blah, 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 blah. And men are like, yo, how much money do I make? What do I do? And who the fuck believes in me? And that's their financial clock. And I just want to have like this other clock, which is like, dude, like, what do you want? Like, what do you enjoy? Like, do you like traveling? Dude, go travel. Do you want to fly here and stay for the weekend? Dude, go fly there and stay for the weekend. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to write a book? Go write a book. Like, I'm focused on what I want to do. And yeah, it's selfish, but like, dude, if I can't give myself to a woman right now, maybe I will later on when I actually have everything figured out. And I don't want to rush that. So that's just like my big message to the world before we hop into more conversation. But like, I just think that the world has it wrong. And I'm just a lot happier than most people, I think.
Well, let's unpack some of this stuff, you know, before we get into skill set and scaling all that. So a couple things, interesting. What a dynamic thumbprint. You know, you got the opposite of the Tony Robbins. He had the growth hormone. You needed the growth hormone, you know, and then you're kind of like in the personal development space now, you know, 26 years old, you've done well, you know, everybody understands that has been through that. I'm an older dude, so when you get in you want to be playful, you want to have fun and get that through your nervous system, and then, once that's still, you'll know when, or maybe not, but it doesn't matter. The other thing is, I was going to say, because this will segue nicely into social media. So I've had my own company for 24 years. I've had several, businesses. I never went to college. I took college courses, but never got a degree. And I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. My dad's an entrepreneur. His dad's an entrepreneur. It just goes on and on. The thing is, I was thinking about the other day, I just launched another company, and it's a branded company. The first one was a Me Too company. And I have to, as you know, got to do tons of social content. I'm leading somewhere with this. And I'm doing a TikTok. And I was like, Mike, because I had a TikTok coach for, like a couple months. And then I was like, the thing is to look at other content, see what's working, and maybe do something similar with your own voice. I saw, okay, I kind of did that. But then I was doing some content the other night, and I'm 57. And I'm doing.
Dude, you look great for 57, dude.
Thank you. I work hard. I work out every day, and I drink my water and all that. So but I like to munch. I like to eat. Anyways, I digress. So I got the ADHD. I got to watch myself. So the thing is that my background is weird. I've been an actor and a filmmaker and a stand-up comedian. I used to think, well, if I'm a business person, and it was constantly back and forth, because my first business was nightclub promotion. I really excelled at that. And that kind of kept the artist in line, but the long story short is that, will that take away my creativity? And the only rules that work are the ones that you create for yourself. Now, people will stereotype you, right? And I'm leading this because when it comes to social, I think that it will find its place. I'm having faith, because I'm still in the incipient stages of really growing this brand, but I'm the head of the brand. I'm the CEO, founder, and all that. So I'm doing content right now. I was like, Mike, that was weird. That's cringy. But I just read an article the other day that what works on TikTok is cringy, or, whatever, and you're going to be cringy, and you're going to make mistakes. You're going to break some eggs. So the thing is that I was like, dude, how do you want to, I want to be respected. Everybody wants to be respected. You have to have a certain level of respect when you're the head of a company and you have high hopes for it and you want it to become as big as it could possibly be. But the other thing is that you have to be true to yourself and not worry about looking, so I don't think it's immaturity. I think that people are really nervous to show how playful they are at no matter what age. And I think that, and that's why that's our segue to get into now talking about social media, talking about how you scale, which is hand in hand to social media now, and your personal brand, your business brand, and all that stuff. Let's start with your journey and how it worked for you, and kind of what you do now, and let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I mean, like the biggest thing when I was first starting out was finding my proof of concept. And this is something that's very overlooked in the business world. People are just so consumed in like starting, launching, making money. But if you don't find your proof of concept, you don't really know what to scale upon. And the proof of concept is really in like a couple of key parts. One is like, what is your offer to your avatar? Okay, so like, what is your offer? What is your messaging? And why should people buy? The second thing is like, is your product market fit? A lot of the times we make a product because we think it's the best, but the market tells you it's not. And then you blame all the other shit on the outside. You're like, oh, my ad didn't work, or like, oh, my website's not cool, or like, oh, my sales guy sucks. Like, actually, your product sucks, and no one wants to admit it, because what does that make you do? Start from scratch, start over, do R&D, more market research, etc. So it was finding a proof of concept. It was finding out like, hey, what do people want out of me? Third was spoiling money to find what the market wanted. So when I was taking so many sales calls, I was getting objections on the phone. Like, hey, you guys don't do email. You guys don't do SEO. You guys don't build websites. You just run ads. And that's what allowed me to develop the product over time. Now we do everything. But like in the beginning, it was this objection of, oh, you guys don't do blogs. You guys don't edit videos. And I was like, oh shit, people want that. So we got to find a service to be able to supply that to the clients. So like just listening to the market was huge when I was first starting out. Fourth was, what do people actually want other than results? Because obviously you're selling a service or a product, like people are getting a result from it. Either it's emotional or it's physical or it's tangible or it's money based. So like, what do people want outside of results? They want two things. They want status and they want access. And those are two things that I always would put inside of my products to allow me to say, hey, I can always serve the market regardless of economy, emotion, or preconceived notions. So that was a huge thing for me. And like when I first started the agency, I was a solopreneur. And being a solopreneur, there's one thing that most entrepreneurs run into, which is control problems. And this is why most entrepreneurs have shitty relationships, is like because they have a control problem. So like they run their business, and the biggest break point that I see is anywhere from 10K to 30K a month. That's when most entrepreneurs get stuck or they can't scale, is because they just want to do it all on their own. And that's a control problem, because either they grew up in an environment where they didn't really trust anybody, or someone fucked them over, or whatever it looked like something happened to make you think that we can't trust humans because you did it all on your own. So you're the only person who can do it. So like when I was doing the services on my own, like, yeah, I was making 10 to 30K a month, but I was so afraid of saying, hey, you do this, I'll give you $5,000 a month and go for it. Okay, sick. I give it to somebody. I never trained them. I never pre-vetted them. I just figured, hey, if I pay somebody, they'll shut up and do it. Wrong. Okay. People who are in the 9 to 5 working mindset need to be motivated and incentivized to grow within a culture. I didn't have a culture back then. I just had a paycheck, right? So I was just giving people money and expect them to be motivated. Wrong. And like when I was doing 10 to 30K a month, I had to make that first hire to allow me to be a part of the 80-20 rule, which was like, hey, what are the 20% of things that I'm doing that drive 80% of the results? So that was for me running ads and talking to clients. So I was like, all right, well, I don't need to be running ads. I need to be like building more products and maybe doing onboarding and taking sales calls right now and driving that top line revenue. So I had to find somebody who could run ads, do strategy, hop on with clients. That was a very hard position to hire for. I didn't realize how much money that would cost me. So I was making 30K a month and I was like, oh shit, this person wants 8 to 12,000 a month. That's a fuck ton of money. So what do? I guess I got to hire them because I was making all profit at the time. So I hired him. He did very well. Like, but what did that make me realize? Every single decision that I made in the business dictated a new problem that I had to solve. So what was the problem? I had to raise my prices, number one. Number two was that I had to build systems within what this person was doing. So I had to do all these SOPs and all these cool automations and do Zapier and all this fun shit. So then I started doing that. And I built the proof of concept and foundation for the first part of the business, which was getting past the break point of 30K a month. And then from there, I had to find other things in the business that, like when we were offering new products and services that the market wanted, I had to find people to do those things. So if I was building websites, okay, we got to hire a developer, $3-4 a month. Okay, sick. We got to find a copywriter, $6 to $8 a month. We got to get an account manager, $5 a month. Like all these things had to happen. And I had to spend that, like to get to the 10 to 30K a month, I had about 15 clients paying $2K a month. I mean, from there, I had to take my team that I was building of these 5 to 7 people and have them completely overhaul these 15 accounts. And then I started to realize that they could take on more. And then I found another problem, which is, oh shit, they can take on 25, 30. I'm paying all this payroll. By the way, when I first transitioned, I was breaking even for about a couple of months because I was paying all the payroll, making me then realize that I could take on another 10 to 15. That 10 to 15, by the way, was the profit. So then I had to fill up the pipeline, got more calls, closing more people. And then I was able to get 60 to 80K through the pipeline for 30K of payroll. Then after that, started realizing that, hey, I'm not doing much work anymore. I'm making 60 to 80. My team's doing all the fulfillment. I'm checking in on shit, but like, what else can I do? That's when I got into coaching. Coaching then allowed me to take the clients who didn't qualify for done for you and do a DIY with them. And that was coaching. Coaching, I'm going to be honest, that made me a shit ton of money. I made about $170,000 a month for a while, 160-ish, 170K a month, just coaching while they were running the agency. So I was pocketing a stupid amount of money every month. And, but I hit burnout because I was on 12 Zoom calls a day. I was coaching people and bro, that was exhausting as hell. And, dude, the thing about the coaching space that people don't want to talk about because they might be coaches is like, you might be a coach right now if you're listening to this, but like little do you realize that like this might be really messed up, but like you're really not helping people. I'm gonna be honest. Like I know that's so messed up, but like you're not because you'll coach 100 people, 95% of them won't do a fucking thing you told them to do. They won't do anything, and you're basically selling this like dream. That's why I don't do coaching anymore. It's funny because we have events and like people always ask this question, like, "Oh, can I do one-on-one with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's 18,000 a month." Why do I charge that much? Because no one's going to pay for it. I don't want to do it, so I make the price so high that no one pays for it.
Right.
It's funny because people are like, "Wait a minute, why would you do that? Like, why would you say no to money?" And I'm like, dude, it's not about saying no to money. It's about giving you the transparency that you don't need to coach. You need to get the fuck inside of your business and fix the problems.
Right.
Like me telling you that for 18,000 a month, I make the price so high to where no one pays for it because I don't want to do coaching, dude. I don't want to sit on a Zoom call because here's the thing, dude. Only thing I'm doing right now is podcasts, events, and developing new products. That's it. And the thing about coaching, and this is how it usually goes. Coaching is like this. You hop on a call and it's an hour call. The first 30 minutes are you just talking about random ass shit that doesn't even matter. The first 30 minutes are, yeah, so last night we went to dinner. My wife did this, like, oh, and she's, I just called her cheating. She was sleeping with my friend. And then like 4 years ago, I was in prison because this. I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on? Where is your funnel? Where is your funnel? Where's your sales team? What is going on? Most sales calls are just like, not sales calls, sorry. Most coaching calls are this sporadic, like, dude, it's absolutely absurd because people just want what? A therapist. You could pay a therapist $150 an hour and not pay me $4,000 an hour. You could just go do that instead because that's what most coaching is. You're just a therapist. So I got out of the coaching space. Thank the Lord. Dude, it was so exhausting. Like it was crazy. Or you're on a coaching call and the dog's barking or like the kids are screaming in the background or like, I'm like, bro, like put your kid in a cage or something, like put the dog away, whatever it is. Like, it's just crazy. And then after that, dude, I realized that I had to go back to that team that I first built, build them out more, train them more, all that stuff, build systems about every single position. And then I could what? Hire and make that person the lead. Hire, go underneath them, learn from them. Okay, cool. Go from them. And that's how we basically scaled everything out. And then from there, we had increased prices again because margins obviously go down as you scale. So increased prices. We were getting bolt-ons. So what do you mean by bolt-ons? I mean like things that we bolt onto a business to get more leads that don't require us to really spend a ton more money. So either it was acquiring an SEO agency or it was running events or it was running webinars and it was doing social media and doing organic, all these bolt-ons in the business that allow me to have lead generation. Because lead generation, little do people realize, like a lot of businesses don't run ads because they're afraid to spend money. Here's my pitch on ads. If you wake up in the morning and you don't have a book calendar, you're broke. And that's just it. End of story. If you don't wake up in the morning and have a booked out calendar and you have leads coming in, you do not have a business at all. I don't care what business you're in. You can't prove me wrong. Okay. So every morning that my sales guys wake up, we have 40 to 60 book calls a day. They are busy as shit. So top line revenue will always be here. Everything else between that is systems, people, processes, products, development, all those things, right? Quality control, quality assurance, like all these things that actually matter to keep the bridge alive. But like if you don't have top line revenue, you're consistently in scarcity mode or what we call survival mode of like, hey, I just have to make money now. And that's why most people don't invest in their business or have a good marketing team or spend money on ads and all this stuff. Like those are the things that drive revenue and you can't solve problems without money. So like that's the biggest piece. But yeah, it's really how I took things from like zero to where it is now. I mean, it's such a big transition, dude. And most of those things, I had to buy down ignorance. Okay. And this is a big point is that if you're sitting there right now and you're like, hey, I want to buy the sales coaching program, or I want to go to an event, or I want to get a director, or whatever, like, dude, you have to spend money on those things. Regardless of how you look at it or not, if you don't have a sales director, you're losing money. If you don't have if you're not bolting on other lead gen sources, you're losing money. If you're not investing into systems, you're losing money. Like you have to spend money on shit. And if you have to break even a couple of months, it has to be done. It just has to. If you have to raise prices. Like all of these things that you're having challenges or problems with, it's dictating your next decision. And that's what we just call KPIs, key performance indicators that allow me to make decisions. And if you're looking at your business right now and you're not satisfied with it, all the things you've been complaining about for the past year or quarter, like you have to spend money to solve them, regardless of how you look at it. You have to take 3 steps back, take 4 steps forward, or you got to pay somebody to come in and fix them. And I just, dude, like we're spending a lot of money right now. Like, Jesus, the problems we have to fix are just nuts, but they're problems that we have to fix in order to grow to the next level and get that next revenue target. So that's what we look at. Like, it's this thing where most companies do, they break even for the first couple of years, and most people don't want to hear that. They're like, oh, like I want to profit now. I'm like, bro, you have no idea how to run a business. Just get a job. I say that with full love, but like you should not be running a business if you're looking to make money day one. Just go get a job, which is it's very hard. So yeah.
Wow, lots of good stuff. You have a very for 26, yeah, I'd say 95 of what you said. I'm like nodding my head, yes, 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 because it's just like so true. I always say ad nauseum, process automations and leveraging, and then the net time, multitasking. Those four prongs really you should be learning that art form. That's your karate, that's your martial art, because that's, you can make it, your business can make money from day one. Mine did, it was a different time, the right opportunity, the right situation, the right kind of business, all that. But yeah, you should be prepared to lose. And also at the same time, I was talking to somebody, well, nephew, and he's like, yeah, I want to start a business, but I don't have any money. I'm like, you don't need to have any money. It depends on what kind of business, depends on the situation, depends on what your product, what's the way, is it a widget, is it a service, so many different things. Where are you at now with your company that you have created, and what is the full encapsulation of what you guys do?
So Wojo Media is a full service marketing agency. We help business owners really harness their irresistible offers in their business, their product, their copy, their messaging. We also do all their funnels, product pages, landing pages, e-com stores. We do their ad creatives. We do their copy. We even manage their KPIs. So like, obviously like their marketing data and like their LTV and their cohorts that drive revenue. We have a team of 52 right now. That spans like 85% are US based, 15% are international. We have also Scale Your Ads, which is a bolt-on, which is an event business, where we host events every single week, sometimes every bi-weekly, where we host events in different cities and we educate business owners for 2 days at a workshop, and then we pitch them on services. And we also have, like we do search engine optimization, we do website building, like we do a lot more services now than what we used to. We also work with UGC and influencers for content creation for clients. We also have in-house videographers that we fly out to clients if they want to pay for it as an add-on package, so we can go
What's
film.
UGC? What UGC? What is UGC?
UGC, yeah, it's user-generated content. So like we send products and services to influencers and they make videos based on scripts we give them. You've probably seen a lot of stuff on TikTok. It's a very big thing in UGC.
I didn't know. I'm doing that myself right now, but I didn't know it was UG. I didn't know that. Yeah.
So we have 255 clients right now that span across service-based businesses, coaches, consultants, service providers, e-com stores, personal brands, some solopreneurs who run coaching businesses that aren't fully scaled out. And then also I have private clients of my own that I do work with on a monthly basis. They're just bigger brands, like Ryan Pineda, Chris Crone, Carlos Reyes, Jamil Damji, all these like bigger names in the space. There's some I can't name because of NDA reasons, but like basically most of the people that you follow online, like I'm likely running their ads. So that's been really cool. And those are clients that I do one-on-one work with. So it's, 20K, 30K a month retainers, where I'm doing all their stuff one-on-one. I touch everything and it's very exciting. It's cool with like revenue KPI incentives and like just growing out their webinars or their challenges or their event funnels or whatever it looks like for them. I also have equity in other companies as well. I have a lot of cool partnerships with bigger brands in the space where they're sending clients to us as affiliate partners. And also like, we're an 8-figure company. We just hit 8 figures last year. So it's very exciting. And we're just excited to grow and keep scaling things. And like, we're taking a couple steps back right now because we're getting ready for the next ramp up. And yeah, I mean, what's funny is like, for us to do 8 figures a year, you don't have to make $1 million a month. You have to do 833 grand, I believe, a month. So like we're doing well, but we haven't hit $1 million a month yet. So that's the, dropping of the ego of like, hey, I want to be able to do $1 million a month. I haven't done it yet. And it's something where we have to really structure things a lot better. and we have to, get more training to the team. And like, we have to take a couple steps back to, obviously push further. The events, got us over $500,000 a month. And like, that's exciting. The event business we started 8 months ago and it did $2.5 million. Like, it's really good. But at the same time, it could be a lot better. So, things are good for most business owners, and you always have to adjust and like pivot and see what the numbers are dictating for you. But big thing right now is like team first, and like building core values. So like some of our core values are urgent excellence, radical transparency, team first, things that we like encompass inside of the team, and like having a good environment, flying them in for the events and like having good team culture there and a good environment. Also like me with brand, that's why I'm doing all the podcasts and I'm, doing all this press and like speaking at all these events and, kind of doing a lot of shit for free right now because I have to get brand out there. So it's something where a lot of the time you make a lot of money in a business, but like you don't have brand. So you take all the money that you're extra profitable on and you take that money and put it in a brand. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And then, geez, on top of that, like we don't really do consulting anymore. I stopped. It's all done for you. I realized that DFY was just the sexiest thing possible. And just like, I don't want to just sit there and tell people what to do because no one does it. So that was a big shift for us. And really just a big play for me this year is all brand, like networking. Like I know that's not a revenue driven thing because I don't do CEO anymore. So Casey handles all that. But like our biggest thing right now is I need to build brand and I need to get in bigger circles. Like I need to start networking with the biggest guys in the space. Like I have yet to meet guys like Gary Vee and Grant Cardone and all these guys. Like I need to be in their circles. And I'm slowly getting into them. And it's like, that's more important to me than just making a quick buck. So yeah. And then also like increasing prices even more, having more product knowledge, like also having more product development, like how can we make the product better? So those are things I'm focused on this year by far.
Great bullet points. Long-term 26-year-old kid, you're a baby still. They say, speaking of Gary Vaynerchuk, he'll say, in nauseam, he'll say that, you're not even really hitting your stride till you're in your 50s and 60s. He says that all the time, maybe that's because he's, approaching his 50s. But no, it's true. Like look at Ray Kroc from McDonald's, great example. So you got a lot of runway ahead of you, but what's the long-term 5, 10, 15, 20, 25-year long-term plan?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for us is in the next 5 years, we want to be doing 25 million or more, across the companies. And then after 5 years is going to be acquisition. So like, how do I take all the cash flow and then just basically buy data, buy leverage, buy data, buy teams, buy support? Like, what am I looking to do with the company as far as, hey, like we have a service, we need to buy a SaaS company. Like we need to buy something else that we can bolt on. Also 5-year goal is having an event with 1,000 people in the room. The most people I've had in a room is 140. So it's something where like, yeah, that's exciting. That's cool. But like we're trying to ramp that up because I want to be able to have the best event space possible in the ad space. Like there's a couple of other companies. There's Traffic Conversion Summit. There's AdWorld. There's very big event businesses. I just want to be number one. So like, scale your ads is something where we don't have the fulfillment though to have 1,000 people in the room. And I'm saying that with full transparency of like, dude, we don't have a sales team of 80 people. We don't have a team of 400 who can fulfill for 750 clients. Like if we had an event with 1,000 people, we're going to close 100 to 150 people. We can't take on 150 clients right now. We can take on 40, can't take on 150 though. So it's this thing where I want to have a room with 1,000 people, but at the same time, like, is it going to make money? What dictates that, right? Et cetera. So it's things where, dude, we're pushing like, there's going to be one thing that I'm going to just leave the audience with, which was really important for me to understand, which was it's okay to not scale quickly. And like, there's a lot of people ask me about events like, dude, how do you afford all these things? Like, how do you spend all this money on X, Y, and Z? Dude, I'm going to be honest, man. Like, I just saved a lot of money for 4 years. Being a solopreneur, making 170 grand a month and some of the heightened months for 2.5 years, I'll be able to save a shit ton of money. And now we have like good cash flow. And like, before I made any buying decisions in my entire life, before I made any choices as far as a car, a house, stupid shit, I had to have $1 million liquid. And that's a big thing that a lot of people do not believe in, or people think is stupid because they think that cash is shit and it's not worth anything. telling you right now, all these people on the internet who are like, yo, go buy real estate, go, don't pay taxes, like all this stuff. Like, dude, yeah, real estate's important. That's cool. But bro, if you don't have this little bit of a net to catch yourself sometimes, you're always going to be fucked for cash. And that was the biggest thing for me. Like, why can we spend so much on shit? Because I have millions of dollars that I've saved where I can just be like, hey, all right, this is 200 grand. All right, fine. Like, this is 100 grand. Fine. Like, it's not this thing where I'm throwing something and I'm like, yeah, so it's not going to happen this month because that's slowing down everything else. And because I did coaching for years, I can accredit all of that money saving of like a couple mil to the coaching space. But after that, you have to build a real fucking business, and coaching is not a real business. It is it's just, to be honest, it's just a cash grab. That's all it is. And it's something where I had to realize that and buy down my ignorance and really build a real business. And yeah, I mean, dude, that's just like our big 5-10 year goals. I mean, the other thing is like we have a book coming out. I have mine coming out in the next 60 days. I want to get 10,000 copies sold. So like we want to do 25 million in the next 5 years. We want to get 1,000 people in the room. I want to get 10,000 copies sold. I mean, I want to have a team of 100 plus. I want to have our office. We're trying to find an office right now. That's the hardest shit I've ever seen in my life. I don't know why it's so hard to find an office. We had an office that we were about to get last week and they denied us, not because of credit or money. They denied us because another company came in and they were in business for 25 years and we were in business for 6, and they decided to take them over us when I was willing to pay more money. So I guess people hate money now. So interesting. But like, yeah, dude, like I'm learning that game of like, hey, people in commercial, they're not taking businesses that are smaller. It's harder to get approved. And I'm like, dude, I have better credit. We make more money than that company does. That's the crazy part. We make more money than the company in business for 25 years, but they took them over us. Makes no sense, but okay. So I'm trying to learn that game and like trying to figure all this out. But yeah, I mean, dude, we're about to get in the Inc. 5000. Really sick. Like we're trying to build these things that are just like small wins, dude. Small wins. It's not massively impressive, to be honest, Inc. 5000, because all you have to show is like 400% growth rate.
Right.
Really not that hard. If you're like building something really rapidly and you're putting money into ads.
You need to show 3 years in a row.
Right? Yeah. Like, to be honest, it's really not that hard to get Inc. 5000. I mean, you have to obviously like you have to spend the money to apply, but like if you show the numbers and your accountant approves the documents, like, dude, you're going to get approved. So it's this thing where we're just trying to, get an office, get salespeople in person. We're learning that virtual is shit. If anybody's listening to this and they're like, hey, my business is virtual, move your people in-house as salespeople. You'll make more money. There's your best tip there. That's what I'm seeing from all these bigger names in the space that I'm working with. I go to their offices and probably have 100 people on the phones hammering. They have all their leadership in person. Like virtual, it's kind of hard to have human connection now. We have to rear people back because of all the stuff that happened during the thing in 2020. Like the whole virtual shit is actually ruining culture. It's very hard to build culture when you're just sitting in your house all day. Like it's just very tough. And when you're trying to build something with 150, 250 employees that we haven't even gotten to, we have this break point right now, like 50 employees. We start hiring more and then we just can't keep the culture. It's very difficult. So I don't know. I mean, I'm probably doing things wrong, maybe. But at the same time, dude, I'm just like very passionate about the fact that, like we have to build those systems to have better culture. So
I've seen the river flow many different ways, and I like what I see. 26 years old, man, and you were saying so many and doing so many right things, and you don't need me to tell you that because your business is working. So I love it. It's great. I think that you will continue to succeed with honesty and transparency and just genuineness. I think that's and you'll get those 1,000 people, and you'll meet Cardone and Vaynerchuk as long as you continue to just be you, and don't assume anything, which just seems like you've done it your whole life anyway. So that's why you've done well, and I think your employees appreciate that, and your tenacity and your energy, which is the lifeblood of the engine that helps you continue to scale. Let's do a little something fun before we end. You're the kind of person I think that'll give me a really nice rapid one, rapid fire. 5 of the biggest mistakes a new entrepreneur makes.
Hiring just to get stuff off your plate without training and putting love into people. That's number 1. Second mistake was biting off more than I can chew, thinking that working harder was going to make me more money. 3, if you don't buy down ignorance, then ignorance will buy down your business. That was 3. 4, you don't know what you don't know. And 5 is if you say yes to something, you say no to something else. So thinking about that, like logical thinking in this way of like, if I say yes to X, what am I saying no to? A lot of the times we're so excited about saying yes and pushing the business, but like, what are we saying no to? What are we leaving behind?
Jason Wojo, these are great. And I knew he'd give me a quick 5. I knew it, just felt it. Laser focus. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Tell everybody how they can find out more about you.
Yeah. So if you go on Instagram, you can follow me at the Jason Wojo. That's where you can see all my content daily. We post tons every single day. You can click the link in my Instagram bio, which is jasonrunsads.com/scale. You can book a call with us, see if you're a good fit to work with us. On top of that, we have our event coming up April 27th and 28th in Miami. ScaleYourAdsEvent.com/Miami. Get tickets. I got about 30 left. So yeah, excited about that. And yeah, just stay along for the journey. And then if you opt in for anything, you'll be a part of my email list, newsletter, and yeah.
Bonus top 5. How do you scale your ads? Top 5 ways.
Top 5 ways. One is focus on product market fit instead of just the ads manager itself. 2 is your ads only sell the click, not the purchase. 3 is creative will allow you to scale, not just spending more. 4 is you need to have an outside tracking software to make sure that your KPIs are being driven. Don't just depend on what Facebook tells you. And then 5 is if you're not willing to spend to get the customer, someone else will. And that's something that Dan Kennedy always talks about. Like, hey, the person who's willing to spend the most to get a customer wins. If you don't believe in that, then you're always going to be broke and poor. So yeah, that's it. Those are 5.
I love it. Great job, man. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for sharing.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us. Gear up for your next adventure and head over to bolotour.com to check out the amazing Bolo Pack and their other innovative outdoor gear. Catch you next time.